Good morning. Good morning. This is the show with me, Kym Swain, and we are here once again. This is my second show this year in 2021. Good morning, Storm.
Good morning.
Good morning. Storm's in the house with me. We both made it out early today. My voice is still a little raspy. It's cold outside. I got my water and my coffee, and I'm feeling good. It's a happy day. I'm not going to go into too much news because there's not a lot of good stuff, but there's a lot of positive things to look forward to, I believe. What do you think, Storm?
I think we're slowly coming on the up and up.
Yeah, I think
we're getting there.
A lot of people are scared, but I'm really ready to travel. Like last year, I lost my mom during this pandemic, and it's been quite, hard to deal with. And because right before she passed, she was supposed to go with me to Jamaica for my birthday, for my 50th birthday. It was this very special celebration. It was a women's group. Everybody paid in full. Whole event was going great, and then bam, had to shut it down. And not only that, I didn't get a chance to spend a vacation that I was looking forward to with my mom and my daughter and my sister. It was like a really, a very special day. So now I'm really, really hell bent on getting out of town, trying to go to the Caribbean. So I'm gonna, see what's going on. I'm gonna keep it in prayer. And let me know how you guys out there feel about traveling right now. Would you travel? Are you going to get the vaccine? Storm, how do you feel about getting the vaccine? I know everybody's like up and down about it.
I mean, that's a whole discussion right there. But I mean, to sum it up, I want to wait a little bit longer to see more results and see how things go, but I'm open to it.
Okay. Yeah, I've met a lot of people. Now listen, the majority of the people that I have met that have had the vaccine are senior white people. I have not met any black people that have told me that they have it. I assume in New York is a much more of a majority, but where I work at in the area with the people that I've been doing business with, a lot of them have told me they've gotten their first shots and they have their scheduled date to get their second one. I had one Australian lady told me don't do it. She's like, don't do it. She said that she heard that somebody got sick. A friend of hers got sick from the first shot, and went into the hospital. They got so sick. So it's up and down. I don't know if it's just I do believe it's a matter of your previous health condition. Anything that is attacking something that is already damaged is going to affect you in a, what's the opposite way. It might not be as good. So I remember years ago I had the flu shot. Man, I never took it again. I got deadly sick. I was on my back. My mother had to take care of me and my daughter. It was years ago. My daughter was little, and I just couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. It was like at least 7 days. I have never been so sick in my life. So that was enough for me to say I didn't want to do that. But I'm gonna do my research. This is a different situation, because this is a really, really life or death situation. And, I have other people to consider in my life that I want to protect. So like you said, we're going to see how it goes, watch it, and when it's our time, we'll make a decision. But I think it's more or less we're going to be doing it to continue to live. But it's Black History Month. And, every day that I'm on air, I want to share a new story about somebody that influenced greatly in the industry of music or entertainment or, education, just in our world. But I'm not going to get there yet, but we will be having a Black History Month moment. Also, we're going to have a moment with my friend from Clinique at Belk, because Clinique is an Estee Lauder brand, and they are going into gifts. So my friend Leslie Jackson is going to be calling in to tell us about what's going on with Clinique and their products and some of the new stuff they have and what's featured in their gift. Also today on the show, my special guests are Dewey Bradford. And he is a fashion stylist and brand, executive. He works with a lot of great artists in the industry and different clothing brands. And he's going to be doing a lot during Fashion Week. He's always doing something. But he's going to be a special guest on the show. We're going to be talking about fashion and him as an entrepreneur. And then on the second half of the show, we're going to be talking to Milk D from Audio 2. Milk D is my former classmate. Back, way back. We went to junior high school together. And, he's part of Audio 2, Top Billing. So he's going to be on the show today. So can't wait to talk to him because we haven't spoken in at least 35 years. I think the last time I ever saw his face in person. So this will be the first time we have a conversation in over 35 years. So this should be interesting. We didn't even talk to plan the interview. We texted each other. And always said, can't wait to talk. So I'm looking forward to that. What else is going to go on today? If you tuned in on Tuesday, you heard a great interview with Esnavi and Ashaka Givens. Make sure you support both of them. You know, Ashaka is a phenomenal stylist and designer. AshakaGivens.com, a milliner, great hats. And she was talking about, you know, how she's been getting through this pandemic as an entrepreneur. And also Esnavi, she was very inspiring. She's an artist, an R&B artist, and you know, she has her own brand, Zen Products. So go to, I think it's Zen by Esnavi. No, just go to Esnavi.com. And I can't remember the exact Zen, but Storm is going to refresh my memory when I get a chance. But I want you to go to her site. Also, go on my social media, and you'll see a link. She's offering a 15% off discount to my listeners, you know, right now. So I don't know how long that's going to last, but there's a special code, and I'm going to post that up on my website and my social media as well. So right now, we're going to get ready to talk a little bit about Fela Kuti. He is going to be my Black History Spotlight this month. So, yeah, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick commercial and come back with my guests and a Black History moment right here on the show with Kym Swain. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know if you're listening, all right? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is the show.
Let's get real. The truth is, your skin is not my skin. That would just be weird. Clinique ID has 20 combinations to hydrate and treat your skin. I like a lightweight moisturizer and something to revive my tired-looking skin. Whether you want to make tired skin more energized, pores look smaller, lines and wrinkles less noticeable, skin look calmer, tones seem more even. This is my Clinique ID. Get your own. Go ahead. ID yourself.
All right, Fela Kuti, by name of Olufela Olusegun Oludodotun Ransome Kuti, also called Fela Anika. Fela Kuti, okay? He was born October 15th, 1938 in Nigeria and died August 2nd, 1997 in Lagos, Nigeria. So Nigerian musician and activist who launched a modern style of music called Afrobeat, which fused American blues, jazz, and funk with traditional Yoruba music. Kuti was the son of feminist and labor activist Funamilayo Ransome Kuti. As a youth, he took lessons in piano and percussion before studying classical music at Trinity College in London. That was in 1959. While in London, he encountered various musical styles by playing piano in jazz and rock bands. Returning to Nigeria in the mid-1960s, he reconstituted Kula Lobitos, a band with which he had played in London. The Afrobeat sound emerged from that group's experiments. Following his 1969 tour of the United States, where he was influenced by the politics of Malcolm X, the Black Panthers, and other militants, Kuti's music became increasingly politicized. He exhorted social change in such songs as Zombie, Monkey Banana, Beast of No Nation, and Upside Down. Fela, as he was popularly known, and his band, which was known variously as the Nigeria 70, Africa 70, and later the Egypt 80, performed for packed houses at the early morning concerts that they staged at Fela's often raided nightclub in Lagos. The firebrand singer, who gyrated over the keyboard as he sang in English and Yoruba, struck a chord among the unemployed, disadvantaged, and oppressed. His politically charged songs, which he decried oppression by Nigeria's military government, prompted authorities to routinely raid his club, looking for reasons to jail him. Near there, he also set up a communal compound, which he proclaimed the independent Kalakuta Republic. As head of the commune, he often provoked controversy and attracted attention by promoting indulgence in sex, polygamy. He married 27 women and drugs, especially marijuana. A 1977 raid on the complex by Nigerian authorities resulted in his brief incarceration and the death of his mother the following year due to complications from a fall. In exile in Ghana in 1978, he changed his name from Ransome to the tribal Aniku Lapo. In 1979, Fela formed a political party, the Movement of the People, and ran unsuccessfully for the presidency of Nigeria. 5 years later, he was jailed for 20 months on charges of currency smuggling. Upon his release, he turned away from active political protest and left his son, Femi, to carry the torch of Afrobeat music. Fela was jailed again in 1993 for murder, but the charges were eventually dropped. He died as a result of complications from AIDS. Man, so Fela Kuti, let's listen, check it out. This is Water No Get No Enemy.
If you want to wash, now what are you going to? If you want cook soup, now what are you going to? If your head is hot, now what are you cool? If your child they grow, water him go use. If water kill your child, now water you go use. Told me back mama oh me no lo malo. Go someone to the shake, oh malo me oh. Nothing without water. Go someone to the shake, oh malo me oh. You water, you if you fight them unless you wonder. I say water no get enemy. If you fight them unless you wonder. You they talk of black man power. They talk of black power. I say water no get enemy. If you fight them unless you won't die. I say water no get enemy. I say water no get enemy. You love town. You love town.
don't go anywhere. We'll be coming up next. I got Dewey Bradford, and he's going to be talking about fashion and the Fashion Week experience right here on the show.
Keep on.
And we are back. Welcome to the show with Kym Swain. As I mentioned, today we are going to be talking about fashion with my friend Duree Bradford. And let me tell you a little bit about Duree. Ask You Ventures is one of his companies, and Ask You Ventures is a creative conglomerate spanning the media, entertainment, fashion, and communication industries whose focus is on branding and presentation. Branding is an incredibly important tool for creating and building your business. It is the science and art of making something that isn't unique. Branding is the promises you make and the promises you keep. Now, this is directly from Dewey Bradford. This company was established in 2005 by Dewey Bradford. Ask You Ventures was formed to meet the specific need. During this period, brands were experiencing similar issues. They needed to stay on trend and consistent without breaking the bank. As a former head designer director of various popular brands such as Steve Madden Outerwear, Sean John Outerwear, Puma Outerwear, Poplux, Fat Farm, and Echo International, Dewey owned in on his expertise to produce products within the outerwear and ready-to-wear market. So welcome to the show, Dewey Bradford, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Dewey. Can you hear him? Oh, thank you for telling me that. I needed that this morning. I got my day started on the right direction.
Yes.
And that means a lot coming from you.
A little bit of coffee and I'm good.
Yes, I got my coffee, Dewey. So listen, I need you. You are really amazing. You are doing so much. I met you. I was telling Storm that we met at the Diamond Party in New York last Christmas, not this Christmas, but you just seem to be a man of style, and you're doing so many things. You've worked for so many successful brands. So tell me, how did you get involved in becoming a designer? I mean, are you specifically a designer first or a stylist first? And how did you get involved in fashion? That's my question.
Well, it started with my love for fashion. I have a pretty similar story to those, rappers who eventually made it type of thing. I started out admiring fashion. For me, I was born in 75, so we went through the whole 80s and 90s, falling in love with Ralph Lauren, and then there were a few companies that followed, like Tommy Hilfiger and Nautica. So I was a fan of the business before I got into it. I decided, that I wanted to have a life of traveling and, making good money and being stylish without having to wear a suit all the time. Because at first I wanted to be successful and I also wanted to look successful. To me, a suit was looking successful, but then I realized there was a lot more to life and I wanted to be more stylish when I was younger. So, I went through the regular channels of trying to get into like the financial district. I took up financial printing. I learned about all the financial documents and stuff. But as soon as I got my opportunity, I was going to the tunnel a lot. I met this dude named Moses, who eventually put me on to this company, Damani Dada, and that's how I got my start. Started as an intern. I went straight through the ranks, man, and eventually my first official company working for was Wu-Tang. Wow. So I got to touch a lot of celebrity brands, as well as established corporations as well. So me just having a love and a passion for the fashion got me my first start. I went to FIT. I studied in menswear under Professor Blackman. That's how I learned about pattern making and, cutting and sewing and, all of those different things. I used to really sit at the feet of learning about textiles and the gurus that taught about textiles. So, I mean, honestly, I'm a little rusty, but I used to be able to look at what you're wearing right now and tell you what that fabric is and the composition and the makeup of the fabric. So, wow. I mean, traveling the world, we used to always go to Paris and London. We did a lot of research in California and different markets. Things changed a lot, man, because once the internet really took over and everyone had the power in their phone, I mean, a lot of the traveling kind of slowed down,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had a really wild run as a designer.
Yeah, it seemed like everything was going really, really good. and then now you had to make a change, you know? So what have you done as a business person? Because you have so many different projects that you are involved in and that you've created and brands. So how has it affected you? How have you had to change your way of business?
Right. So, you know, the plan was always to become a company owner / brand owner. So I had to figure out, well, how do I transition from a worker? Because remember, when you're an intern, you're fighting to become officially hired, right? So I spent like a strong 6 months just learning the trade. After 6 months, I was like, yo, I've been doing this for 6 months. What's up? Give me that money. Get me hired. Let's move. And they were like, you should go to fashion school. That's how I decided to go to fashion school.
Wow.
I did the whole summer. I went into the course. I dropped out because I met this dude named Kevin Leone, who was Russell Simmons' right-hand man. And eventually, I started interning for him. Eventually, we both got fired from our respective jobs. That was when I was in financial printing. And then we both came together, got hired by Mark Echo. And he put us over at this company called New York. And, you know, New York and Echo were kind of always battling a skate brand. And that was when skate brands started really becoming popular and trending. So that was really kind of like my first start in corporate design. And, you know, from there, I had to segue and figure out a way to get into my own business. So in 2005, I started my own design firm where I was, you know, I was a counsel for different brands. A lot of them were startups that were trying to get up and running. And I also had some clients that were established companies. So every company that I interned for, I circled back and they became a client of mine. You know, it was just amazing how it happened. So I designed for Sean John. I was head designer of Sean John outerwear. I did Timberland outerwear. Steve Madden, Unit, 50 Cent is amazing, by the way. Amazing marketing mind. And then I got to a point where I was just sick of outerwear. I got into athletics. I designed a brand called K1X. That's a German basketball brand. Protege, Band One. Just the list goes on. It was crazy. So I started like just doing little capsules for a lot of different brands until that brought me to last year, December 1st, when I officially launched my own brand. Now, the brand that I launched called Cote d'Ivoire, it's actually two brands because in 2018, I felt like I hit a glass ceiling and I wanted to get more into community-based services, and I wanted to start offering services to the community. I knew people out there were hurting, so I started a health and support festival called Health Shop, which I knew I would eventually turn into a brand, you know, a sportswear brand, where we battle Nike and Reebok and Adidas. So that all happened when I did a deal with this company in this manufacturer in Italy. December 1st is when I launched a sneaker collection, which consists of Cote d'Ivoire sneakers and also Health Jock sneakers.
Wow.
And and so that kind of segued. That was December 1st, 2020, literally, you know, 2 months ago. And within January, I locked in a deal with the manufacturing company to start my apparel collection. So in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have apparel that I'll be able to offer to the world.
Awesome.
And I'm
Congratulations.
doing a collection of solar backpacks.
Congratulations.
I received that, for sure.
Yes. So, you know, listen, I just want to comment on your company, Cote d'Ivoire. I made a mistake, and, you know, I'm ghetto. You know, I don't want to embrace that ghetto mentality. When I looked at it, I read it, corduroy. But it's Cote d'Ivoire.
That's how the Americans are going to call it, right? That's how the hood is going to call it.
That's the hood version, right?
What's better than corduroy? There's a whole history behind corduroy. Corduroy stands for cloth or cord of the king.
Nice.
And, man, I took a deep dive into the luxury market. I studied, you know, luxury for the past, 200 years. It really started with the aristocracy, and Louis Vuitton, as we know it today, Louis Vuitton, right? These guys, they were trunk builders for the aristocracy back in the 1800s or so. King Louis XIV was still alive. That's when Dom Perignon was still alive. He improved the process of champagne. That's when the fashion calendar was created, all during this time. So that's why I pay homage to the French culture.
Right.
Even though the French culture did a lot of dirt to black folk, that's a whole other conversation. I'm not going to get into it.
Right.
But what they did for fashion was amazing.
Right.
Amazing. They established things that we still hold true today.
Yes, yes. So many brands, even like, companies like Lancôme, who started in France, and they just embrace beauty and culture and find things in life. So I do appreciate that, as you do. So tell me a little bit. Tell me a little bit more about like how you just manifest these creative thoughts and designs. How do you what inspires you in fashion the most to be creative?
Well, for me, so there's kind of like two things, right? There's what inspires me as an individual who now has his own brand, but then the other part of it is what inspires the people who are my clients, right?
Right.
Because my true focus is branding, not just design, not just styling, but branding goes a little bit deeper. I have deep conversations with my clients or potential clients. We talk about what their vision is. A lot of these people are not creative. They're visionaries, but they're not creative in terms of, putting together what their logo, their imagery would look like, the messaging that they're putting out to the general public. These things are all important, and it's all under the umbrella of branding. So when I was sitting around these round tables, I'm sitting around the super tight-knit round table of Sean Puffy Combs, Sean John, where they were deciding on their marketing plan for the upcoming year, what their strategies were, and how to position themselves. When you have a conversation with the visionary, with the owner, the creator, right, you tend to understand color, graphics, silhouette, verbiage comes to mind. I could build out a whole verbiage tea collection off of one conversation with you, Kym Swain.
Wow.
No problem. Like, we could build your collection today.
Come on.
Just off of the conversation of what your vision is and what you're trying to convey to the public. So I pretty much have it down to a science now. So everything around me inspires me. The culture, the activism, the colors, everything around, the atmosphere, the environment, the culture,
Yes.
And that's the beauty about hip-hop, because hip-hop gets interpreted and reinterpreted by every single culture known to man. They got, everyone has the hip-hop up, if you're honest with yourself.
Right.
And from white to black, doesn't matter, it transcends race, culture, economic positioning in life, like whatever. Everyone is now expressing themselves through the music of hip-hop, and hip-hop touches everything from clothing to the culinary arts to fashion, of course, cars, colors, everything, man. So my inspiration is all around me, and I'm sure most creatives would admit the same thing.
Right. Yes. So you're doing a lot of sneakers, I see. I'm looking at Cour du Roi, right? The House of Royal Looms. And these sneakers that I'm looking at now, these are shoes that you designed, and these are your brands.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about making sneakers.
Say that again?
Tell me a little bit more about making sneakers. Like, you said you make for your clients. What was your focus when you started to go into sneakers? What was...
Wait, I gotta say, this is a new development for me. Like, I've never been in the sneaker making business, ever. Not even one time in life. I designed a few just casually, like, one day I'm gonna have my own sneaker line. But this thing just kind of fell on my plate, and I took advantage of it. Just designing sneakers really has to do with, just as we said before, inspiration. Like, what do you feel fresh in?
Right.
What do you know your people are going to feel fresh in? Because I think at the end of the day, we all want to impress our friends,
Yes.
Impress yourself. You want to feel happy looking in the mirror, but what's fresher than your boy rolling up with his shorty or his other boys rocking your gear? So for me, designing sneakers was just kind of like an easy transition from apparel into sneakers, you know?
Right.
Because you get to express yourself. All the Jordans you maybe couldn't afford back then, and now you could afford, but maybe you don't want it. You know, you get to, you know, really put little elements that you loved about everything throughout your life into what you're now creating. So that was really my process for designing these sneakers. Okay. And they're very different. If you check each one is very different.
Yeah.
Because my master plan is to have each one represent its own aesthetic.
I see
so I'm going to
that.
build vignettes.
You have a wide variety. I like the Safari Dura. Am I pronouncing?
The Safari joint?
Yeah, I like those.
Watch what animal prints I'm going to come out with next. It's going to be amazing.
I'm really feeling those. So
What's your favorite animal print, Kym?
Huh?
What's
Say it again?
your favorite animal print?
Anything with animal print. I love it. Okay. Listen, we got to take a quick break. Okay. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we're going to come right back. We'll be right back with more Drew Bradford and talking about his amazing career and his amazing ideas. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. It's Fashion Month. I guess really it's Fashion Month, but right now we're going into Fashion Week. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is the show with Kym Swain.
This your girl Queen Quinn from the new show called Next Now Presents Next Up. We'll be bringing you segments like Questions from the 8 and Street Dreamer. Be sure to tune in Saturdays at 5 p.m. on Next 100 and Next 101, where we treat indies like majors. Powered by IBNX Radio Network.
Powered by IBNXRadioNetwork.com.
The station I listen to 24/7.
ATL's Next 100.
Real
Next 100.
Don't get it twisted.
Welcome back. We are talking to Drew Bradford. He is an amazing designer and creative-minded person, but he also does a lot of great things in the community. And I wanted him to share also some of the things that he's been doing with his nonprofit organization. Tell us a little bit about that, Doreen.
Man, in 2018, I launched Help Jocks, which was originally Help Jocks Festival. It was a health and sports festival that I wanted to bring healthy information to the community. Everything was for free. We fed the people for lunch and for breakfast and for lunch. We started at Kaiser Park in Coney Island, Brooklyn. And that was the first year. Even the first year, we received a citation from the Brooklyn Borough President. The second year, we did a 2-day event. We went back to Kaiser Park, and then we went to this new location called Brooklyn Bridge Park.
Mm-hmm. I love Brooklyn Bridge Park.
We pulled in the, what you say?
I love Brooklyn Bridge Park. It's like back in the day when we used to go to concerts, when they had nice outdoor concerts. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a very coveted park and kind of tricky, hard to get into.
Yeah.
They're very picky, with people that they
have
were
events there.
Events there. So I feel that I was blessed.
Yes.
I had Brooklyn Borough Hall behind me because everything that we were doing, up until now have been Brooklyn. And then, so that was 2019. We did a 2-day event. And then 2020 hit and totally destroyed everyone's plans. Pandemic hit in March, and that was when we were starting our campaign. I was in the middle of locking in all these sponsors. They were giving me some real money in 2020. Yeah, and that all fell away until I hooked up with Coach Ted Justice. He was the PSAL high school basketball commissioner for Brooklyn and Queens. And, through basketball, I locked in all of these, referees and coaches and people so the plan was, since all the kids were homeschooling and doing virtual school, we created the Help Jocks virtual trip, right? Where from 12 to 3 o'clock, we would do a virtual trip right on your computer screen where we would just host all of these different exercises and young people could learn about nutrition and, how to exercise without weights and learn how to dribble and improve on your skills, so on and so forth. And that opened us up to an international business instantly. We locked in the Brooklyn Borough President again. We did a virtual town hall meeting to discuss what I will be doing until I die.
Wow.
It's called Mental Health Initiative.
That's
now,
awesome.
Last year, I did a deal with this fashion and jewelry artisan. His name is Phil Harris. And he's been suffering with mental health issues since he was a child. His mom was abused. She was shot. She eventually died. He used to get beat up because he was a gay man. He didn't even really know what it was when he was younger. But everyone in the hood knew, right,
mm-hmm.
that he was feminine, and then eventually, became a gay man and stuff. So he was always abused for that. It just kind of became popular a few years ago, being gay and things of that nature. But him and I, we connected, and we did, as soon as we connected, we did a string of 5 fashion shows from 2019 leading into we kind of stole a fashion show in February 2020, right before they locked down the city. And all of those fashion shows were based around mental health issues in America. Because of the pandemic, suicide rate went up, abuse went up, domestic violence went up, and you'd be surprised, like, I believe the number was 1/5 of students actually admitted to in some form committing suicide.
Wow,
or,
that's horrible.
Committing harm to their bodies. Yeah, young kids between elementary, junior high school, and high school.
Yeah.
So that's how I knew that was one of the true pandemics that America has been facing. And when the coronavirus hit, that was just another pandemic, added to.
Yeah.
And, when you say pandemic, you think of the world, right?
Yes.
But I'm really talking about specifically America right now. And I took it upon myself to, really go after this issue in America. The pandemic, what it did was the person you decided to marry, boom, all of a sudden you're stuck with them for 20 hours instead of 5 hours a day because there's no work, there's no leaving the house, and God forbid they shut down the stores. So now you're dealing with the pressures of dealing with your spouse and your kids, and it's stressful for some people,
Right.
And so that was my whole thing for the nonprofit. Eventually, on July 22nd, I became a nonprofit in 2020, and a couple of weeks ago, I officially became a 501c3.
Oh, congratulations! Yes.
I built that again.
I said congratulations on that too.
So thank you. I received that. So I locked in my board of directors. We have everyone from an executive from Bank of America to the president of the Democratic Hispanic Party in Florida. Like we have a lot of really, valuable people that we have to push everything forward, because nonprofits are new for me. I'm literally studying the IRS book, really understanding and learning about nonprofits. And that's all really just to set myself up, number one, that I won't go to federal prison with using any funds, because I'm clear on everything.
Right.
And number two, really servicing the community the way it's supposed to be served, and we just want to take full advantage of the money that's allotted to the community.
Right.
And we're in the process of getting access to those funds. We're setting up some things, some establishments out here in Brooklyn. Eventually we'll build the Health Docs health and sports facility, which eventually I don't want to put too much of it out in terms of the eco technology that we're going to have in the facility, but it's going to be next level, people. Like, you're going to be excited to be a part of that.
That sounds exciting. I'm so proud of you. It's so important that, like I was talking to my guests on Tuesday, and, I think that when creative people it's a sin not to use your creativity as a servant to me. You know what I'm saying? I think we are blessed with these creative things that we're able to do, and talents and gifts, to be a gift to someone else ultimately. And I believe you are going to always be blessed when you use that gift as a service. Financially, 10 times fold.
I want to receive that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me? Yeah, 10 times fold. And I'm just so excited about what you're doing with Health Jocks, because right now, I guess you didn't even realize how important it was going to be when you really thought of it, because right now health is important. Right. Health is your wealth.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's actually pretty much the number one topic in America right now, besides politics and the ridiculousness that just happened about a month ago. It's crazy.
Right.
But I want to speak to your people right now, and I want to say this, people, do not be afraid to be more than a one-trick pony. Like, all those creatives out there who know you have more than one talent, more than one interest, more than one gift, I want you to go after every single thing that you know is inside of you, people.
That's right.
A lot of people try to, kind of put their own fears on other people.
Oh, yes.
They project their own fears on other people. Like, oh my God, you can't do two things.
You could. I could be guilty as that, like as a parent sometimes.
Then it'll be successful. That's a lie, people.
Yes.
It's a lie, man. It's people like Tesla and Thomas Edison, and all of these people that we know who have done amazing things to push humanity forward.
Right.
If they were all one-trick ponies, man, we would. I mean, you're doing yourself a disservice and the world a disservice.
Yes.
If you do that.
Right.
Tap into your creativity, tap into your interests, because it kind of starts with your interests. The things that you are interested in, most likely God is pushing you towards that direction.
Yes.
To learn, develop, cultivate, and be the best you can be. Put that thing out, people, before you die. Because
Yes.
we're only on Earth if we don't get killed until, 75, 85 years old.
Right.
We don't have a lot of time, people.
Woo! Come on now.
Think about it. When you're in your 50s and 60s, you don't want to be doing nothing.
You want to be enjoying your life. It's just relaxing, kind of. Looking at the benefits of the reaping the benefits of your journey.
Your own labor.
Yes, and your labor. Listen, Duree, you're going to have to come back. You have done so much in all of your creativity. I know it's going to be so much more. This conversation, I don't want to end it now, but I have to, because I have to prepare for my next guest. But we have got so much more to talk about, and I thank you for taking this time out of your morning and your busy day to spend with me and my audience and share some great news and inspire people. I want you to let people know all the websites. I'm going to have them up on my links as well, but just tell us the website that they can go to about your nonprofit and about your brands.
Yes, my nonprofit is helpjocks.com, HEALTHJOX.com. If you want to learn everything about me, go to asqui.com. That's ASQUI.com. And my clothing brand is called Coeur d'Ivoire. The Hood, or Americans will say corduroy, it's CORDUROI.SHOP. It's a .shop, people. You go there to shop.
Yes.
That's me.
Yes, and I'm telling you, I'm getting ready to go in and check out. I tell you, they got some fierce sneakers. I love them, so make sure you go and check them out. But like I said, I'm going to be sharing your information with all of my audience and all of my social media connections and friends and followers.
I appreciate that.
So, you know, you the bomb. You the bomb. You know how we say it in New York. You the bomb. You all of that. So please come again.
You're amazing.
Yes, and we're going to talk about some other stuff. I'm going to give you a call because you start talking about you can figure this out and figure that brand out. I'm ready. Okay?
Oh, you ready for a brand? Let's go.
I'm ready for my own brand. Okay? So, until next time, all right, Dury?
Yes.
All right, so I'll talk to you
Pleasure,
soon.
people.
God, have a blessed day. Ladies and gentlemen, that
Bye-bye.
was Dury Bradford. Make sure you check out at Styles That's STYLESQUI. And on Instagram, that's where I follow him at. But like he said, you can go to all his websites and there's all kinds of information about what he's doing. It's great, okay? So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Milk D from Audio 2. And this should be an interesting and exciting conversation. We're going to find out what he's been up to. And just like I said, we ain't spoken over 35 years, so I can't wait to talk. Don't go anywhere. This is the show.
Check it out. MCMI, people call me Milk. When I'm busting up a party, I feel no guilt. Gizmos cutting up for the suckers that's down with me. The one of us, that's how I feel. To be down, you must appeal to the two. We're rated R, we're gifted, and we're going far down the road to the bank. While I'm here, I'd like to thank Mom and Dad, they knew the time. Gizmo scratching, Milk D's rhyming, Milk is chillin', Giz is chillin'. What more can I say? Top billin', that's what we get. Got it good, since you understood. Would you stop scheming and looking hard? I got a great big bodyguard, so step up if you wanna get hurt. Milk D's gonna pull this skirt. I get money, money I got. Stunts call me honey if they feel real hot. That's how it is, you can ask kids. I stole your girl while you were in prison. Jail for MC assault. You was jealous, it's all your fault. Milk is chillin', Giz is chillin'. What more can I say? Top billin', that's what we get. Got it good, and since you understood, would you clap your hands? Your hands you clap. If your girl's out of place, it's your girl I slap. And if you're dumb, you ask why. I am from that do or die. The Audio 2, the 2's audio. I got a brother and his name's Gizmo. Milk is chillin', Gizmo's chillin'. What more can I say? Top billin', that's what we get. Got it good, and since you understood, would you bite a rhyme if you dare? I get the paper, so I don't care. My contributions to this jam is confusing because I am Milk D stated all the way. The super easy modest MC, okay. Yes, I'm down. I don't care. Yo, my name is Milk. When Milk is on the mic, I say all the rhymes you MCs hate. I really don't care what you think or say. I gotta bust a rhyme in my own special way. Giz is my brother, Mom is my mother, D is my father. You say why bother? Because they put me here on this earth. Light is on my side and she is worth more to me than you. Forget your crew, it doesn't matter what you say or what you do. I'll keep on rocking, I roll too quick. All you groupies make me sick. The king is my boy cause he's down with us. First priority's the label that we trust. I really don't care if you're big and bad. I'm making more money than you wish you had. throw a mic cause I have respect. And when I come correct. To my left, to my right, I have bodyguards. And in my wallet, credit cards. In my pockets, hundreds and more. I give it to your mother cause your mother's a stunt. I really don't care if you're getting mad. I call you son, you call me dad. I never take drugs, I like to drink milk. It helps me grow and think like a champ. Suckers, I vamp. Soggy MCs will always stay damp. In my presence and in my residence, I keep keys to my car. I go real far to pick up my money. I think it's dope, you think it's funny. You never ever bothered a brother like me. I have too much personality. When I produce, you say it's deaf. I pan it right, then I pan it left. If I want, I keep it right in the middle. You look puzzled, it isn't a riddle. It's a rhyme, one of mine, one of a kind. Girls say we're fine. What's on your mind? You said I'm through? You must be stupid. The audio too is here to stay. Every day, it doesn't matter what you think or what you say. We'll keep on rocking, keep on shocking. You keep looking, staring, and mocking. Milk style, my brother. You're a fighter, I'm a lover. And when I'm at a jam, I'm always undercover. Unless I get paid, then I do a show. When I'm finished, I always go. I got speakers the size of your girl. Booming the room and shaking your world. Bigfoot feet are very big. If you're a sucker, he'll help you dig your grave. Or maybe he'll save your life. Mike shot the sheriff, I took your wife. Yeah, you look mean, but it don't mean nothing. You got this with the push of a button. You paid your quarter, but the game didn't start. It broke your money and it broke your heart. I stepped up and the game begins. In this situation, I surely win. I am the milk like the milk you drink. I don't care what you say or what you think. I'll keep on moving, keep on slaying. Grooving MCs that think I'm playing. On the mic, my style, you like. If you don't, then leave. And I end this jam with time to breathe, boy.
Welcome back. Oh my God, I'm so excited about my next guest because, like I said before, we were childhood classmates at Philippa Schuyler Middle School for the Gifted and Talented in Brooklyn, New York back in the day. That was like one of those schools. It was a special school. You had to take a test to get in there. We were both in, like, you know, the smart class. He sat right across from me. And I haven't spoken to, you know, I knew him as Kirk, but he is really Milk D, one half of Audio 2, hip-hop pioneers in the industry. Let me tell you a little bit about Audio 2. The duo's debut single, Make It Funky, was released in 1987, but it was the B-side, Top Billin', that made the chart hit. The beat made by Milk D and produced by Daddy-O Stetsasonic. And Milk D's lyrics would be sampled and referenced time and time again, even by the group itself. Both the group's full-length debut, 1988's What More Can I Say, and its 1990 follow-up, I Don't Care, the album, were titled after lines from the song. However, the duo never recaptured its initial success, but they continued to be successful as a brand and as industry producers. Audio 2 they're just known by that beat. When you hear Audio 2's beat, you hear it in Mary J. Blige, 50 Cent, the Target commercials. They are just icons in the industry. And I want to welcome today Milk D to the show with Kym Swain. Ladies and gentlemen, Milk D!
Oh, yeah!
Oh, yeah! You know, to hear your voice, Milk, I've never called you Milk, but now I gotta call you Milk because you are officially an icon in the hip hop industry. So I mean, we haven't spoken.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, listen, you know, I gotta say, you knew who you were back then. You know, I think you always knew who you were. You always stood up straight. You weren't one of those brothers that walked around trying to be like anybody else. You were an actor. Remember when you did The King and I?
Yes, I do. Okay, see, now you're getting ready to give them information that nobody else knows. I do remember doing The King and I.
You were awesome. I mean, that's when I realized, I was like, this guy's got it. He's got it.
funny, when I was listening to the intro, the funny thing is that everybody that I speak to from Philippa Schuyler, they always say the same thing. Philippa Schuyler, middle school for the gifted and talented. And I think that really made an impact on a lot of our lives. It instilled a winning philosophy in us. Yes. What do you think?
I think so. Everybody that I know that went to that school, honestly, is successful at this stage in their lives. You know, the ones that I remember that I'm connected to still. And I can look at, you know, when I see what they've done in creatively in any industry that they're in. A lot of people that I know are in creative industries, like, you know, us. And they're doing great things. So I commend. Yeah. Do you remember Miss Collins?
Miss Collins and Miss
Boyce.
It's actually funny. There's a lady at my daughter's school who reminds me so much of Miss Collins. She's white though, but she's the same way. She acts just like Miss Collins.
Yeah, Miss Collins was that lady that's in the hall. She pointed her finger. She was real skinny. But if she caught you, one time she snatched me by my neck. I was like, I'll never do anything bad again.
Yo, that was such a good experience. I wish there were more schools like that now.
Yes.
That makes a difference.
It does.
It's like the philosophy that you instill in the kids makes a difference.
Yes, our music teacher. He ended up being a really good friend later on in life. What was his name again? Because he was friends with my brother-in-law's father. Huh? Mr. Prescott.
Mr. Preston, yeah.
Mr. Prescott.
Mr. Prescott, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody in that school was so strict, but they really did care about us, and they cared about our gifts. I mean, I remember practicing with him after school, learning Cardo Mio Ben or Italian songs, and all those things have really helped me be so diverse and be able to do different things in life. You know, I've been able to sing Italian songs at weddings and stuff like that. The people that, oh, you know Cardo Mio Ben? You know Ave Maria? Can you sing it? Oh, sure. So you're right. It was a great experience. So when you growing up back then, when we were
I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
You just dropped out for a second. What'd you say?
I'll say, so back then, when you, we met like when we were like 11, 12, and I wanted to know, like, were you actually working on music? Because you also were a great student. We were in an SP class. You know, you kept your grades up. You were very smart. So how did you end up becoming an artist, like in hip hop? What made you decide you wanted to rap?
Okay, so this is the part that I don't know if you know or if you remember, but when I was in the 5th grade, that was my first year at Philippa Schuyler. You remember back in the days, they gave you the option to go. You stayed at elementary school till the 5th grade,
right? And
then you would go to middle school. But at Philippa Schuyler, they gave you the option to go in the 5th grade. So I skipped graduation at my elementary school, and I went to Philippa Schuyler in the 5th grade. And that was when I fell in love with hip hop. I used to listen to WHBI, and I heard the Kumo D, Busy B battle tape, and that's when I fell in love with hip hop, and that's when I decided to be a rapper. Well, all of the kids at Philippa Schuyler used to tease me, like on the bus.
Yeah,
you know, I got a jacket.
I remember.
Luke P on the back. You remember that?
Yep. I was telling Storm about that. Like, you said you was gonna be a singer. Like, yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they used to tease me. They used to laugh at me. They'd be like, "Oh, you're corny. You're whack." And that name is stupid.
Yeah.
So that's how Philippa Schuyler students inspired me, because every time they did that, I was like, okay, I'll show them.
Yep.
I'll show them. So that's when I really decided that I wanted to be a rapper, when I was in the 5th grade.
Wow. You know, do you remember Chandra Stevens?
Yes.
She sat at our table. She's my best friend my whole life. She lives down here in Atlanta with me. And I was telling her, yes, I was telling her about you being on the show, and she said, tell him I said hi. She said, ask him if he remembers this and that. And one of the things she kept saying is the fact that, she said he came to that school before us. She said he was already there. She remembered those things. She has a great memory. But she also said she has this phenomenal picture of me, you, her, Wayne, who else is in the picture? Donald Wimbush. I don't know if you remember any of these names.
Oh, wow.
I was like, whoa.
Wayne was in one of my videos.
I remember. He's the
Years
one
later.
told me about I Like Cherries. I was like, what? You and him were on the train. Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I remember those days, being teased or people like, not really taking you seriously with your art. But like you said, you've always been confident, and that confidence must come from, your family, because it takes a lot of confidence to do what you did in the King and I play. That was like, y'all did a real production. You had to wear the costumes and be different. Like the school was in the middle of the hood, so to be in that environment and to be able to just reach out and experience something as an actor and be totally unfamiliar with where you're from. How did you tap into that? What made you decide that, okay, I can do this? I know, did you do any research on that play, or did you watch the Yul Brynner version? How did you really get into that character? Let's go back.
Okay, all right. Well, when I was small, I wanted to be an actor. So that was probably my 10th play by the time I did King and I. So I've done a lot of plays in elementary school, and I did like some off-Broadway stuff. So I wasn't scared of the stage. Yeah. I did I was part of the I almost said Park Hill. Downtown Brooklyn, they had a play, a theater. So
Academy of Music, BAM?
And so I wasn't scared of the stage. As far as my family goes, they always inspired me, and anything that I wanted to get into, they would give me positive words, and they wouldn't stop me.
Right.
And I used to do a lot of stuff. I used to be like Tootie from Facts of Life. I used to go around the house with roller skates on. Nobody never stopped me.
Yeah, so, I love that.
Yeah, like all the time. I wouldn't take them off. So I guess that was mainly my personality, but nobody ever tried to stifle me.
That's right. That's good. I was that way with my daughter, because that hinders your creativity. You got to be free and explore. And I love parents who allow their children to do that. So, now, you've been in this industry so long. And like I said, I consider you an icon, because Top Billin' is like one of those beats when I don't care what age you are, what era you live in, when you hear it, it makes you want to move, it makes you want to rap, it makes you want to like bop your head, and then you recognize it from other songs. Nobody really, at this stage, a lot of people don't know its true origin, So that was an original beat that was created by you?
Yes. I created the beat, but I used samples from Impeach the President. Wow. And I just chopped it up and put it together.
Impeach the President by James Brown?
No, by the Honey Drippers.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I always thought that. Okay, I got you. So, when you did that, because you sampled it, but you sampled it, but I would never know that was that. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, part of the reason is the equipment I was using, it degraded the sound. This was early on when I barely had any equipment, so it kind of changed the vibe of what it sounded like, which also added in my opinion, a certain magic texture to it.
Right.
The flavor is like it's almost like nowadays they would probably call that lo-fi, but it added that lo-fi vibe to it, which made it different and unique.
Right. Okay, so you worked with a lot of artists and producers when you were doing that track. Tell us a little bit about who were some of the other producers. I know you worked with Stetsasonic, Daddy-O from Stetsasonic. How did you guys get together and work together?
Okay, so Daddy-O was my mentor. He taught me a lot. My first record, I didn't produce. Somebody else produced it, which was the Christmas record. It was called The Christmas Ride. And right about then, I decided that I wanted to start doing the music myself. So Daddy-O, King of Chill, they were mentors to me. And I was just starting, making beats, trying to figure it out. And anytime I had they would show me stuff. And anytime I had any questions, they would help me out. Wow. So I don't really even remember where we met Stet. I know it was probably through Lumumba Carson. And they were managing Stetsasonic. And we were doing stuff with them also. So that's probably where we met. Wow. And, one day he came over to. I had my studio, a Tascam 246 4-track. That was my studio, cassette 4-track. And, we became cool after that, and he helped us out a lot.
Wow. So your career ended up developing. Your father created First Priority. And do you remember, like, how that all came about? Like, when you told your dad that, you wanted to be a rapper? Because I've spoken to him about this. And like you say, your family was very supportive. So how did that whole creating First Priority Records come into fruition? Was it just because you put out a song? Because you have helped, because of that, so many other artists had music released on a label. So tell me a little bit about how First Priority developed.
Okay, so this goes back to even before First Priority. I won't go through the whole story, but basically, I kind of showed my father that I was serious about it, and he introduced us, or he set the whole thing up with his friend who had a label called Magic Christian Music. He was an old club promoter that my father knew from those days, and he had an independent label, and that was the label that we did the first record, A Christmas Rhyme, on. So my father was funding the project. Me and my pops was running around to the record stores trying to get them to put the Christmas record in the stores locally. And he was paying off the DJs to play it because, it was a Christmas record. So we were doing all of that. And one day I think this is the day. We were sitting in front of this record store on, I think it was 8th Avenue in the city, waiting for one of the cats to come back so we could try and give them the record. And we was just in the car talking, and it was just like, we doing all the work ourselves. We might as well start our own label. And, that was the beginning.
That's just how, but people say it all the time, but few actually follow through and do it, So we're going to take a quick break. Milk, I'm so tempted to call you Kirk, but Milk. And we're going to come right back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about your career and what you're doing now. And just like the makings of great business, because you're not just a record label anymore. You guys are a full media company, and you've been honored by so many different outlets, and we want to talk about that. So do you mind just staying a little bit longer after the break?
Yeah.
All right, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is the show with Kym Swain. I'm talking to Milk D from Audio 2.
Bananas, I don't like peaches. I don't like fruit, I bite and it screeches. I like cherries 'cause cherries taste better. And grapes are sour. That's the more. That's the more. I like cherries 'cause cherries taste better. And grapes are sour. If a lime's to a lemon and a lemon's to a lime, why do cherries taste better all the time? I don't know about that, but you just shouldn't miss. Just sit back, relax, and buzz this. A philosopher once said that life is a bowl of cherries.
and we are back. I'm having a great conversation with my former classmate. It has been over 30 years. I have Milk D from Audio 2 on the line, and we're just talking about the span of his career and the influence him and his family have had in the hip-hop industry and the overall music and entertainment industry. Milk, listen, before we go into everything that you're doing, we were just chatting during the break about, you have 4 children, and you are hustling this interview in between having 3 children at home doing homeschool during this pandemic. How has that been, as a parent that, has a business and all that? How has it changed you working with your kids directly and helping them with their education?
Well, I'm so into education anyway. Like, I'm one of those dads that go to everything, all of the PTA meetings, the track meets. So I was already thoroughly involved. It seemed like a big portion of my day revolved around the kids and their schoolwork and their homework. I also take them to Kumon. So, I was already doing that. Now the pandemic is nuts.
Yes.
When I first, I have one that's in high school, so I don't really have to, she handles her own stuff.
Right.
So I just have to make sure, I've just got to knock on her door and make sure she's doing it. Mm-hmm. But my daughter that's in kindergarten, that's the one that I have to deal with the most. And when I first started, it was a little frustrating because you in the studio till 2, 3 in the morning. Then I got to get up at 8 o'clock to make sure that she's in class and sit there. But I adjusted that. I started going to sleep early. And eventually I became addicted to it. Now I like it. She has a really good teacher. And she's so bubbly. Sometimes she gets on my nerves. She comes on and she's like, "Hey, students." And I'll be like, shut up.
God bless her.
But she has so I look forward to it now, especially the morning class, and she's learning a lot. And like I said, she has a really good teacher, so I'm good. It's just frustrating because you can't do everything else that you need to do. I gotta kind of get it done in the afternoon,
right?
After school. So
right. Well, you know what? Listen. Do you find yourself relearning things, or I remember when when my daughter was a kid, even when I was working with her back then with her homework, or even things now that I when I see other children's homework and stuff, I feel like I'm learning new stuff. It's like it's a whole different way of learning these days.
Yes, I do. I can hang with the kindergarten. My high school, my daughter in high school, she's way smarter than me.
Right.
So I can't even understand the stuff that she's dealing with.
Exactly. That's how I felt.
But I'm finding the crazy. Here's the funny thing. I remember my parents saying certain things to me when I was small, and I find myself saying those same things.
Yes.
Right.
It is true.
So I'm sitting there. And I'm beating her in the head oh, you got to do, right before we start this interview, she had an assignment that was supposed to be done. And I was like, yo, is it done? You got to do it. And, I beat her in the head. I'm like, I'm going to do this interview. When I come back, this better be done.
That's right.
So, and it will be, I'm sure.
Right.
She's a great student as well.
Yeah.
But
she's your child, and she got brains
fine.
for sure. So let's go back into your career now. Moving forward, but recently talking to your father, Nat Robinson, when he was on the show, we were talking about just the branding opportunities and the different licensing projects that have come from Top Billin' and the project that you guys did, from Mary J. Blige using it to Target. How did you feel when you first heard your song, or you first knew when they came to you and said they wanted to use that beat, and you heard the way they were using it?
Well, I think as an artist, just in general, we're all real cocky, and in my mind, of course they want to use it. I did it. I'm dope. It's the best song ever. Right. So that's just on the personal side. But what makes me feel good, what's fulfilling, is that also as an artist, I think that you want to make a mark. If you could make a mark in the music business and every artist has a different path, it may be a different mark. But if you could make a mark, then, or I feel like you've accomplished something. You know, a lot of artists come and go, and, you know, it's been about 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think about how many songs we were listening to 35 years ago that we can't even remember.
Right.
So, you know, and I also feel like once it hits that point, like Motown, like once you get to the point where your song has lasted 30, 35 years or even 25 years, then I think that's it. It's permanently etched.
Right. It's a classic.
In history.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
So
and that's what we were talking about earlier.
To make some history, I think that's an accomplishment.
That's right. That's a blessing when you use your talent the right way and share it the right way. It is going to bless 10 times fold. I really do believe that. And you know, and you were saying, you know, like you knew who you know, you of course they wanted to use it because you knew your purpose. You understand? You knew what you were doing. You know?
Yeah.
And you say so in the song. I'm going to tell you, it was so funny when I finally realized, you know, what the real lyrics were, because I thought I knew them. You know, because I really never quite understood. I said, he must have his own way of thinking. But then when I realized how you break down the lyrics, it makes total sense.
You thought I was just a madman.
Yeah.
Oh,
like, that was so
you
creative.
talking about suckers that's down with neither one of us.
Right.
A lot of people thought I was saying me.
Yes.
That's down with me.
Right.
But I was saying neither. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there's so many songs that I've had to be corrected on. But that one was one like, what? That was, I never really realized that that's what you were saying. So you've been producing also. I know, like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you've done. You've worked with Rick Rubin. You're on one of his American recordings, which is another way you're etched in history because Rick Rubin, you know, he's a great voice in the industry and people really look up to him. You also, you guys worked with, you did a duet with the Beastie Boys?
Oh, yeah, I had a song with Ad Rock. Called Spam.
Okay, so that was back in the day. So now you are working with an artist. Can pronounce his name? Enon.
Oh, yeah, Amen. That was a few years ago, but yeah, I did Amen's project. We had a huge single from that album called "I Don't Want You Back." Most people know it as the F It song. Which was a huge song for us as well.
Okay.
The funny thing about that song is I feel like that song is the perfect representation of my life because it's always like that with me, including Top Billing. Like, everybody knew that song was a hit, but they were scared of it. They were like, oh, they'll never play this on the radio. They'll never play this on the radio. It's too much cursing. And, yeah, it's good, but it'll never get played. And that year, it was the most played song in the world.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's how it goes with me. It's always everybody saying what it can't be or what's not going to happen, and we always do the opposite.
All right. Well, I'm going to just touch on a little bit about family real quick before we move forward, and we're going to play that track when we close out today. But how's the whole family? Like, do you and your brother still do anything together? Gizmo?
No, we're not working together anymore.
Okay.
We're doing our own things. Yeah.
Right. Everything. So you guys, you know, if you ever do like one of those BET shows where they want to bring you back, it would just be Milk.
Us with our guts and our cane.
Right. Coming on down on stage. What are you doing now?
You said toupee?
Oh my God! You gotta wear a toupee, Afro toupee.
No, I don't.
Wear Afro toupee.
I'm not there yet.
Nah, I don't think so. You always had a full head of hair. I do remember that,
yeah,
right?
Like I still got a full head of hair.
Thank God.
And it's not gray either.
Oh no, I gotta. Oh, listen, let me cover mine's up because it ain't gray today. That's for sure. Let me see what else. There's so much to talk about with you. So the licensing we were talking about, with Target and all that. There's so many. Your father said like it's been used. How many times has Top Billin' been used?
Okay, so Top Billin' is the most sampled hip hop song ever. We're almost at 300 sample clearances. That's not including the licenses. You know, like when they like a Target commercial,
right.
They license it to use it in Target or whatever, certain movies. That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But sample clearances are when they actually use it on the song.
Okay. When you were growing up, I'm just gonna go back listening to music. Hip hop was like fairly new back in the 80s when we were growing up. It really started. We started listening to stuff in the 70s from like Rapper's Delight, Spoonie G. Those were some of the hip hop artists. Cheryl Pearl, Angie B. All of those people were the people that I was listening to. So when you first started getting involved with hip hop, who were some of the rappers you liked to listen to back then?
Like I said, Kumo D, Grandmaster Cass from the Cold Crush 4, which later became the Cold Crush Brothers. Those are my idols.
Mm.
When I heard that the battle between Kumo and Busy, hold on, Busy B, I don't mean to be bold.
You just committed suicide. I used to love Busy B.
Kumo D. I still, Kumo D, man. To me, he's one of the most underrated rappers of all time.
Right. Yeah, he was a class act.
He would go on my top 5.
Huh?
I said he would go on my top 5.
Yeah, man. And he had the Wild Wild West, everybody that was in self-destruction, back when we were putting out some real positive lyrics. Not that everybody is doing negative now, but I just think the direction of hip-hop right now, you just have, there's a certain space for everybody. I just can't be in all of them. I kind of like listen to the classics still, unless it sounds classic-ish. I'm not really,
Well, it's funny. When I do interviews, a lot of people, this is a question that I get asked every time. I know you didn't ask it, but usually people will ask me, how you feel about music, hip-hop now? And, they really want me to say something bad about it.
Right.
And I hear you, and I hear where you're coming from. But I think it's important to remember that music is a sign of the times.
Right,
it's a reflection of what the kids are thinking. And in order not to be a hypocrite, I think about, when I let my mother hear Top Billin', she was like, yo, that's terrible. What is that noise? Why does it sound like that?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? She couldn't relate to it. So as adults, I think it's normal for us not to be able to completely relate to where the kids are at these days. So that's just normal.
Right.
But you can't knock the hustle. It's like, you can't knock the hustle. And I always say this. Back in the days, we had great music, good music, and whack music. And it's the same now. We got, we got great music, we got good music, and we got whack music.
Right. So, you from New York. You from New York in the 80s talking about whack in the 90s.
Whack. They know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
So,
who's in your
whack now? Trash?
Huh?
I said even trash is old. How would they say whack nowadays?
I don't know. It's crazy. What's some of the terms they use, Storm? Like, whack is
still like a big thing.
Whack is still relevant. We still using it. Okay, listen. We
what
are
we're talking about. It's not a foreign language.
Right. You know exactly what's up. Yeah. Crack is whack. Everything. So
wait, real quick. My oldest, my 14-year-old, they were playing a song on Instagram the other day, and I said, what I say, stunts call me honey, or something stunts. And she was like, what's a stunt? And I was like, well, that was back in the days.
Yeah.
That's what we used to.
Our hip hop dictionary. Yeah.
Stunt got retired, but people still know what whack means.
Yeah, and whack is one of those terms that everybody just gravitated to. Everybody wanted to say it. They were putting it in the wrong, people who didn't know how to use it were using it in the wrong place saying it wrong. That's not how that's supposed to be used. Crack is whack. Whack is a bad thing, not a good thing.
Kiera Whack, which bugged me out because I was like, why would you put whack in your name? But
right.
I guess it means something else now, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Whack is whack, and that's that. So, you worked with MC Light. I remember back in the days, used to always talk about Light, and this is before she was Light, like we know her as an artist, and you used to always say, my sister's doing this and everything like that. How did you end up getting connected with MC Light? Because you guys were very influential in her career as well.
So we had a group called Alliance, and Alliance, King of Chill was an Alliance. Now, King of Chill is, like I said, he's one of my mentors. He's the first person to ever take me to a recording studio. So that was his group. It was called Alliance. I went to Brooklyn Tech with him. So that was his group, and one of the guys in his group, one of the other MCs, was friends with Light, and he just kept telling us, like, yo, you gotta hear this girl. So I was like, all right. Well, one day he brought her over to the house, and that was the day that we recorded I Cram to Understand You. She came over, and I was like, yo, what you got, or whatever. And I was like, oh, I got this beat, you know, and I put the beat on, and she just spit it. And that's where I Cram to Understand You came from.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, she's still going, looking good, and you know, all of you guys. I mean, it's just amazing because I feel like I was there in a way just from hearing you talk about it. And like you know, we said, you know, you think it was the school, so it is so important. I think, like you said, not to stifle people's creativity. To listen, you know, even though we may not like it, you got to give it a chance, or at least express some interest.
And you gotta inspire, which brings me to something. I actually teach at a school in Bed-Stuy. It's like maybe 7 blocks away from Philippa Schuyler. So, and what I do there, I mean, I'm not a teacher there. I just go there once a week and I teach.
No, that's a teacher. That is a teacher. You're teaching.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's not like my job. It's what I'm saying. I don't have to go in every day.
Right.
But my main objective when I go in there is to try to inspire those kids. And I feel, well, number one, I feel like it's something that I have to do because when you're blessed, you have to give back.
Yes.
And it's extra fulfilling to me because it's in Bed-Stuy, where I grew up.
Right.
And when I look at those kids, it's like I see me. It's like, okay, this is where we're all from, and I try to instill some positive vibes and give them options as far as their philosophy. And the crazy thing is, I learn a lot from them. They learn a lot from me, and I learn a lot from them.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's what it's all about, Milk D.
Your kids are crazy.
Kids are funny and crazy.
Some of the stuff that they say and believe, it'll bug you out.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's good to be with kids, though. I mean, I really do enjoy, like you said, you know, learning from them. And, you know, when they ask questions, I never deny a child an answer, you know, or a smile. You know, I remember, I just love seeing eagerness in a child's eyes, you know, and the whole idea of wanting to learn something new and believing in you. You know what I mean? Because they believe in you, and they're looking for you to come whenever you come. They're excited about you coming. I'm sure they are. So I just want to.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. But the thing is, I think one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is, you know, I know I'm repeating myself, but it's really about the philosophy that you instill in the kids, and you got to start early. You can't let them get grown and then start trying to, you know, instill. And as long as they're thinking, you know, in an open-minded way, a positive way, then they can do anything.
That's right.
It's when you hear them, and I hear them, some of them, they I mean, I could go on and on about this, but some of the positions that they take, it's like, I want to ask them, like, well, why do you feel that way? Well, I do ask them, why do you feel that way? And it's just people aren't instilling positive, you know, information. And that's why I feel like our school was so important.
Right.
And like I said, whenever I hear from anybody from Philippa Schuyler, first thing they say is gifted and talented. They really made us think that we were gifted.
Yes.
And I mean, we are.
Right, we are. And talented.
They made us feel like that. And that's what enabled us to become that way.
Right.
You wasn't good. They didn't make you feel like you wasn't worth anything.
Yeah. They gave us, like you said, it was a creative, free space there. You know, we were able to roam the halls. They let us be responsible. They showed us how to be responsible with our craft and with ourselves. And, you know,
Okay,
they held us accountable.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I know I'm running out of time. Do you remember Mr. Forster?
Oh, yes, Mr. Forster. I had him too.
Okay, so Mr. Forster, right, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I used this in my class. Mr. Forster, remember every year, he was an older Jamaican man.
Yes, salt and pepper hair.
He, on the top of the blackboard every year in big letters, he would put think. You remember that? He used to put think. And then when he would ask you a question, he'd be like, okay, man, you know, whatever. Where does the sun rise? He was a science teacher. And you'd be like, and he would come and pop you in your head.
Yes.
Like, come on, man. Think.
Yes. He was strict.
Right? And I was like, wow, he's getting so much trouble right now for popping the kids in the head like that.
Yeah.
But back then, he'd pop you in your head and point to the top of the board and, you know, say think.
Right.
And that's what I to this day, I instill that in my kids. And when I go to my class, I just like, think.
Yes.
Just use your brain, think. And I got that from Mr. Forster.
Yes. Now you took me way back. I remember Mr. Forster. You know, I can remember exactly what he looks like, and I was thinking he was my college professor. I forgot. He was from junior high school, but that's how much of an impact he had on me. You know, that was the first school where all of my teachers were black. You know, in elementary school in East New York, all my teachers were white and Jewish. So when I came to that environment, I came to Philippa Schuyler totally by chance. A friend of mine had heard her mother was a gospel singer and a minister, and she had her own little church. And my sister took me over to her best friend's house, and her little sister was a singer, and she was like in all the contests and, you know, and pageants and stuff. And my sister mentioned to the mother playing at the piano, she said, my sister sings. She said, sing for them. And I never had, I sang in church a few times, but I never sang. And the lady started playing songs, and she asked me, what song you like? I said, I like Ben. And I said, by Michael Jackson. And she played it. And the next thing you know, she said, here, take this paper. She said, give this phone number to your mother and tell her to call these people and tell them to send you an application. And my mother did it. And my mother said, here, well, this is the application that the lady told you to get. It came in the mail. So I filled it out. My mother let me fill it out all on my own, and I told her to go over it. And she said, you sure you want to go to this school? You're going to have to take the bus all the way there and everything. Again,
oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like, that's that point you were making, like, don't hinder or stifle your child. Who was saying that about put your fears in other? That was my previous guest, Duree. You can't put your fear into other people, you know? So I was like, nah, I'm excited about it. So I went and I got on the bus, took the 60 bus all the way out there, took the test. Next thing I know, at my elementary school graduation, I had got all of these honors for writing and everything, and the principal, because I didn't even know I got accepted yet. My mother had told the school that I had got accepted to a special program, and they were just so impressed, you know, and they were like, oh, Kimberly, that's the one that's going to that special program at that Philippa Schuyler. Yeah. And so then I realized, okay, I can do it. You know, I am a creative person. I am who I think I am. So when I got to that school,
gifted and talented. I am.
Yes, I am that person. Yes, and then to meet so many teachers who were like felt like my parents, or felt like, you know, people that I'm used to being around, and I can take instruction from them and being told what is wrong and what is right. I felt comfortable in that environment. So I just, like you said, I instilled it in my child, my nephews, my nieces, and everybody that I meet. I just want to encourage them, because if there's something inside of you that you're holding back, you got to let it out. You got to share it with the world. So we got to wrap it up, okay? Because this show is about to end. But Kirk,
go on and on.
Yeah, we will go on and on, but you're always welcome back. We're going to do this again because there's so much of the story that still needs to be told, because it continues, and I know you're always doing great things. So will you be open to coming back another time and talking about what you're doing?
Anytime.
All right.
Talented, you know.
And that's how we do. That's how we do. Well, thank you, and get back to the kids, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you for sharing your time with me, Kurt. All right. Milk D.
All right, talk to you.
All right. We got to wrap it up now. Storm is giving me like, Kim, time to go. Well, I just hope you enjoyed the show today. I did. You know, we talked to some great people. We talked to Dewey Bradford. And his brand and everything that he's done. He's worked with 50 Cent. He's worked with Puffy. He's built all these great brands. He's got a sneaker line out. You're going to go to his website, coudera.com, or what's the other one? ASQUI.com, and check out more about him and get involved and learn about his nonprofit organization. And we just got finished talking to Milk D from Audio 2. And I had a great conversation catching up with an old friend and talking about how, it really went into about how we got to instill and encourage our youth, educate them, inspire them, and listen to them. So I hope you got something out of today's show. I hope you can share. If you did listen in today, go to my social media, The Show with Kym Swain, on Facebook, Instagram, and my website, theshowwithkymswain.com. Be sure to listen in next week where my guest will be. I'm going to have a great author on this show and a health fitness instructor who's going to share healthy news with us. So just follow me on my social media so you can stay in the loop. All right. Shout out to Storm. Shout out to Jada. Shout out to Cassie. Shout out to Omar, OJ, and Lil Kyrie. All right. I love you guys. Stay blessed. Stay safe. Stay warm. This is The Show. Till next time. Peace out.
Sisters and brothers and all of my friends, let's come together and pray again. The sign of Jesus is all in the room. I believe he's coming. He'll be here soon, real soon. I'm gonna praise him. Gonna praise the Lord God. One day I got involved with the Father. I got involved with the Son. I'm gonna stay involved with the Holy Spirit. It's all in one. It's all in one. Now mother and father can't save our soul, for mighty God who has control. He healed the sick and he raised the dead. You can read your Bible and read what it says. I'm gonna praise God. I'm gonna praise the Lord God. One day I got involved with the Father. I got involved with the Son. I'm gonna stay involved with the Holy Spirit. It's all in one. Yeah. It's all in one. Now Jesus Christ, the Lord, is in charge. And he's the one to call. God loves us all. God loves us all. God loves us all. Well, shed his blood. My Jesus never said one word.